Welcome to Newsline in Depth. I'm Aiko Doden. In remembrance of the Nagasaki atomic bombing of 74 years ago, today we bring you stories of people affected by nuclear bombings as well as testing, and we share their powerful messages. We start with this book titled Wheeze, which tells the story of a boy and his grandmother who survived the bombing. The grandmother uses wheeze, which spring to life after the devastation, to teach the boy about resilience and instill in him a sense of hope. The illustrator approached a Nobel laureate and Holocaust survivor to collaborate on an original story.
11:02 a.m., August 9th. Every single thing burned to a crisp in an instant.
A picture book that's not just for kids. The story Wheeze is a tale of survival. People are listening to a reading at a gathering in Nagasaki, calling for an end to nuclear weapons.
Grass started to sprout in fields that had been completely burned out.
A woman who survived the bombing uses the wheeze as a metaphor to tell her grandchild about resilience. Wheeze is adapted from the writings of Nobel Prize winner Roald Hoffmann, a Jewish Holocaust survivor.
Sometimes just the fact of survival is important enough.
The book's message is that we must all fight to survive, even when everything seems to be against us. Hoffmann was born in Poland in 1937. Nazis killed his father after the German invasion. But Hoffmann and his mother escaped and hid with friends for a year. After the war, Hoffmann moved to the United States, where he pursued a career in chemistry. He also wrote plays and poems to share his experiences as a Holocaust survivor. When a Japanese artist named Mika Yoshizawa asked him to collaborate on a story, Hoffmann decided to write about the atomic bombing of Nagasaki.
It was a terrible time, but we survived. People have ways of recovering from terrible things. This is the story of Nagasaki and Hiroshima too.
Miyoko Yamaguchi is an atomic bomb survivor. She met Hoffmann at the book's launch. She was just 14 when the bomb hit and working in a munitions factory 1.3 kilometers from the epicenter. For a long time, she felt guilty she had lived, while so many others perished. Yamaguchi says the book's message, to survive like a weed, has helped her come to terms with her feelings.
When I meet somebody who has survived what she did, and because I have survived something else, I would like to give her just a hug.
I'm happy I met him, and I'm grateful for his message.
They share the strength of survival, the strength of the human spirit that makes human beings survive terrible things.
Hoffmann says he hopes the book inspires young people to continue the struggle for peace. Misato Yasui, NHK World, Nagasaki.
The hibakusha often suffer not only from physical pain but also emotional trauma, especially survivor's guilt. But Hoffmann's message is that they are duty-bound to share their stories on behalf of those who did not survive. Some 210,000 people died in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, but this hasn't stopped countries from continuing to develop nuclear weapons. Japan's anti-nuclear movement escalated after Japanese fishermen were exposed to radiation from US hydrogen bomb tests in the Pacific in 1954. Volunteers have been helping the victims to sue the government for compensation.
Former high school teacher Masatoshi Yamashita is visiting fishermen in their homes in a small town in western Japan. Toshikazu Taniwaki was working on a tuna boat in the Pacific in 1954 when the US tested a hydrogen bomb in the area.
When did you get liver cancer?
Taniwaki is now 84. Over the years, he has suffered anemia, hepatitis C, and liver and stomach cancer.
I wasn't quite aware of the seriousness of what I experienced at Bikini. I later found out what happened to the people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I suffered symptoms similar to theirs for many years.
The US carried out 6 hydrogen bomb tests over the course of 2.5 months at Bikini Atoll in the Pacific Ocean. One was 1,000 times as powerful as the bomb that destroyed Hiroshima. The tests produced huge amounts of radioactive fallout. A total of 1,000 Japanese fishing boats worked in the area during the tests. Government officials tested the vessels, the fish, and some of the crew members for radiation, but none of the fishermen were recognized as victims except the crew of one boat. The former fishermen say they were given inadequate warning of the tests or none at all. Yamashita has been researching the impact of nuclear testing for more than 3 decades. He wants the government to officially recognize the fishermen as victims of radiation contamination and provide them with compensation. Yamashita is collecting fishermen's teeth after learning that traces of radiation poisoning can be found in them. Taniwaki gives him a couple his dentist recently pulled.
We might be able to trace the radiation with this. It's in there. This could be clear evidence. We have no time to waste to get things right. Survivors are getting old. It's a race against time.
Back in the 1980s, Yamashita and his students started to look into the impact of the nuclear tests. They found an abandoned fishing boat. Local fishermen told them it had sailed near Bikini Atoll. Even though 30 years had passed since the H-bomb tests, they found a radiation level of 1.5 microsieverts. That's 37 times the natural level. In 2016, Yamashita and a group of former fishermen sued the government for compensation. In July 2018, the Kochi District Court ruled the crew members had been exposed to radiation, but it rejected their demands for compensation. Yamashita and his former students are making an educational video. It comprises testimonies from the fishermen and family members of those who have died.
がんで死んだがよ。2人は死んだんで、岬の船で。で、船員も1人し、2人し、兄貴が皮膚がんで。
Local high school students are taking part in the project.
We, the younger generation, must pass this lesson on to future generations so that it isn't forgotten.
I'm very angry that innocent, hard-working people have been suffering, and nothing has been done to help them. I believe we have to tell people about the huge impact of nuclear testing.
The survivors are getting older as they wait for justice to be done. Yoshiko Nakata, NHK World.
The plaintiffs have brought their case back to the court and their next hearing is in September. Survivors are aging, and for many of the younger generations, World War II is vastly removed from their existence. But one Japanese high school girl was reminded of the war when she was in the United States as an exchange student. Her school's logo prompted her to participate in a video message that was picked up by local media, sparking dialogue. Let's watch her story.
Those who were bombed were civilians, not soldiers. I say it as a way to remember people who lost their lives to ensure the peace we have today. 日本じゃありえないロゴじゃないですか。でもそれが学校のマスコットとして使われてることにすごいショックが大きくて。
It is what we're known for, so, oh yes, we're very proud of that.
I went around asking students what their thoughts on this mushroom cloud was.
In my country, every year we have a peace day when young students learn about and reflect on the devastation and terror that was caused by the bombs. Should we have pride in killing innocent people?
So その動画がなかったら私は他の国、日本からの意見は一生知らなかったとか言われました。やって本当に良かったって思いました。
Nonokakoga's intention was not necessarily to provoke the school to change its mushroom cloud logo, but by speaking out, local people began to contemplate and discuss the meaning of the bombing. The world could use more of this kind of exchange. The author comes scientist, the survivor, and the teacher and the student. The people we met today were soft-spoken but resolute in their commitment to peace. It reminds us all that something positive and forward-looking can emerge even out of horrific tragedies. Their attitudes suggest the passing of time, but the message remains very powerful. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.